What's up guys, Houndish here, and today we're jumping in with some Destiny 2 news in the form of This Week at Bungie. And immediately going into this one, it's worth saying this is a pretty light twab, but there are a few updates about bugs and issues in the game. Bungie also talk about their security policies, issues where some creators have received content strikes, a quick raid emblem update, plus they let us know that we are going to be getting another patch for Destiny 2 next week. And so nothing too wild in this one guys, but we'll break it down, and as always I hope you enjoy the video. And starting out, Bungie Help tweeted and they said we're investigating an issue where some players are unable to equip the Void subclasses or are missing all subclasses, and more updates will be provided when available. And as far as I can tell, this isn't an issue that's affecting very many players, but certainly a bizarre and frustrating one, and hopefully they'll get that one sorted. Moving on to the Twab though, they say this week we're going to say thank you to our generous community for all of their incredible contributions to this year's Game to Give charity initiative, as well as offering some clarity on terms of service regarding in-game behaviors, and talking about a recent wave of strikes against D2 content creators. And so starting out with clarification of account security policies, they say last year we updated the security policy and how we would take action against account recoveries and account boosting services. But now we're diving a little bit deeper into that. And they say currently it's referenced that players agree not to allow their Destiny 2 accounts to anyone outside of their umbrella of ownership. Account boosting falls under this restriction scope, which is where players relinquish their accounts to boost their light levels and can earn certain high-level gear, which puts an unfair investment into one's character when paired up against those playing the game organically. Using these types of services can tarnish competitive activities like trials, or even reduce the value of rewards from activities like raids and Grandmaster Nightfalls. And to protect the integrity of these experiences, we're issuing the appropriate reprimands to a number of accounts in accordance with our policy. And they point out that in August 2021, Bungie adjusted its policy to clarify that account recovery, boosting, and players that benefit from these services were in violation of the terms of service. And since then, we've closely monitored suspected activity and issued our first ban wave against identified violators. They finished by saying we'll continue to update our policies to make the game a more enjoyable and safe experience for all players, as well as continuing to update the community. And they do have links to those guidelines in the Twab, which is linked below. Next though, a quick raid emblem update. And Bungie say they've hit a snag in our processes to send players who completed the Vow of Disciple raid during the 48-hour contest mode. We hope to have a resolution soon, and will notify players once the emblems are distributed. So for any players who should have access to that, it's going to take a little while longer than expected. A separate thing that we don't have too many previews for is that we're going to see a hotfix next week. So this is going to land on Tuesday, March 29th, and this will be hotfix 4005. And at 9:45 AM, which is 16:45 UTC, Destiny 2 will be brought offline. Then at 10 AM, the hotfix will begin rolling out, and we should be able to jump back into the game, so that usual small 15-minute downtime, followed by the update, and we'll have to see what changes we get, as there are a whole host of different things. For known issues right here, Bungie point out, the Osmiomancy gloves lose a grenade charge when a player dies. Also, the Devour timer isn't consistent when killing multiple enemies at once compared to killing one enemy. And then players on Xbox are crashing at higher rates than usual, and Raoul's planetary materials aren't rotating. So it's possible we could see some fixes for those, although there are other known issues that we've had for a little while longer. So I'll keep you posted when we get the update on Tuesday. Of course, if we're lucky, we may get the update or fix for vendors. At the moment, all of the vendor stat rolls are bugged, and that includes Xur, but also tower vendors and all of their armor sets, so hopefully that'll be sorted out. There are other minor things like Season 15 and 14 armor sets no longer being available to unlock as ornaments, missing post-game rewards for trials, missing memento drops, and a whole host of other things. So on Tuesday, I'll keep you guys posted if we get any useful fixes or changes in that update. But Bungie also issue a PS4 HDR update and say earlier in the season, we asked PlayStation 4 players to turn off HDR to prevent crashing on their system. And we believe that this issue has now been resolved with the recent hotfix, that was the one we had on Tuesday, 4004. So now players should be able to re-enable that, and hopefully there won't be any performance issues, but if players continue having problems, they're asking folks to report that to the help forums. Bungie also have a section in the Twab about strikes that content creators have been receiving on YouTube. And these essentially were being issued because folks had used Destiny content, right? Whether it's music, gameplay, or trailer footage. And Bungie had said they're aware of a series of takedowns on the YouTube channels, including content on their own Bungie channels, but they also said that the actions weren't being taken at the request of Bungie or partners. And then Google updated and confirmed that the accounts that had submitted the legal requests were fraudulent, so they've been terminated and will no longer have access to Google products. updates. And Bungie give a bit more clarification about what exactly happened. And they point out that separately, Bungie have taken down content associated with official soundtracks. And they say that going forward, they will be allowing certain Destiny music tracks to be uploaded to channels for archival purposes. And so some of the folks that have been doing that for a while potentially will be able to continue doing that. And they say at the end of the day, the content creator community is invaluable to Bungie, and they're not referring only to big creators, but various different folks in the community at various sizes who do all kinds of different things, right? So good bit of clarification from Bungie about that right there, and let us know any thoughts you may have. They also point out that the Vow of Disciple raid jacket needs to be purchased by the end of March for anyone who's got access to it, so be sure to take note of that. And they also point out that Bungie's most recent Game to Give initiatives for charity raised a record amount of $2 million. And of course, that's absolutely awesome. And that's with 38,500 donors and more than 500 fundraisers who've supported this across 103 different countries. So Bungie, as always, continue their charitable efforts, and the community are a big part of that. And I'm sure we can expect to see plenty more in the future. A couple of extra additional updates right here, but some players were asking questions about Nightfall weapons this season, and currently the list includes Duty-Bound, Silicon Neuroma, the Comedian, and Hothead. But DMG said that checking with the team, it looks like the Palindrome and the Plug 1 will appear during the same week, and that'll be the week that Grandmaster Nightfalls become available. But he also said that Duty-Bound and Silicon Neuroma will appear more frequently in rotation as they're newer, and that the weapons aren't necessarily paired to specific strikes. And so Grandmasters will actually include some of those weapons returning. However, on the subject of vendor rolls and the stat rolls on armor pieces, Cosmo said that they are still working on this one, and that poor stat rolls isn't intentional, and so we will return to the random rolls once we get that fix. And the only other couple of things to mention right here, but some of the patch notes that we had from the update on Tuesday referenced some investment updates that we'd previously seen in another patch. And DMG said with the frequency of patches over the last few weeks, a few things have moved around and patch notes got a bit messy. However, any and all patch note changes that we see in the past two updates should be live in the game regardless. And so just a few updates there worth adding on top of the Twab this week, guys. And for today, that is everything that we have to speak about in the video. So as always, I hope this one has been useful, and if it has, be sure to get subscribed and stay tuned here on the channel for more Destiny content. Otherwise though, as always, I appreciate you tuning in. If you've enjoyed the video today, a rating below really does help us out as well. But otherwise, thank you as always for watching, and I hope you guys have an awesome day.